Hello there. Today is day 27 of working on a currently untitled project, so let's hop right in. So I finished the first draft of particles for the death effect, and I got them working so that they expand outwards with the sphere of deletion, or the dissolve sphere. So I have these two effects side by side, and I think they look okay, but I'll get more into that in the rambling. I also swapped to polygonal dissolving as opposed to if I slow this down, you can see it's very polygonal now. There's also minor vertical displacement, which I think looks actually really good. I'll get more into that in the rambling as well. It's a little bit hard to see at full speed, especially with the particles. But yeah, I hooked up the logic for spawning the death effect from prefab from a dying enemy. So now when shooting enemies, and there are two lines here, one with the particle effect, one without the particle effect, just to A/B test them, see which one's better. They also die faster if you shoot them with a higher damage weapon. So with the railgun, they vanish almost instantly. And this should be tuned a bit more so it's not quite that fast. But if you shoot them with like the blaster or the shotgun, they die a bit slower. I need to accumulate damage over a short period of time rather than just take the damage of the weapon straight, because otherwise that's not optimal. Otherwise you can like shoot point blank shotgun and it's like, oh, like they fly out super far but they don't die super fast, whereas if you shoot them from with a railgun, they just poof, they're gone. Doesn't feel quite right. Anyways, I actually kind of started getting into the rambling section. But yeah, that's all the core stuff. If you if you want to stick around and listen to me ramble, feel free to stick around. If you want to just click off the video, feel free to do so as well. So, as for the particles, I still need to experiment with what they look like. Right now they look pretty lame, just sort of dots. It's not totally unacceptable, but it's pretty lame. So I need to change around, like, what do they look like? Are they triangles, for example? Like, that's an obvious go-to, like, with this particular art style. Like, it just makes sense, what do they move like? I'm thinking that maybe they move in the direction of the expanding sphere. I think that will synchronize pretty well with the feeling. I just need to actually go and do that and test it out. I have a knot in my hair. I should deal with that after I'm done here. Yeah, I'll save that until afterwards. So there's no need for playing with my hair while I'm trying to record a video. Yeah. For the polygonal displacement and just like the polygonal view of. Not polygonal view, the polygonal effect for the dissolve, I think it looks really good. But it's not, I don't think this is quite the look that I want for the game, though, is the issue. Like, I think it's a good look. I think there are games where this absolutely fits, and I think this is really cool. I really like it. But it's not quite... how to put it? I don't know if I want it for this game. I don't know if it feels quite right for this game. I need to experiment with this a lot more. It doesn't... For some reason this keeps happening. I think this might be from when you have an enemy spawn inside something else, which, you know, there's stuff to prevent that from happening. So, well, not in this specific instance, obviously, that's happening right now, but in the actual game, part of the game, you know, like this code to prevent that from happening. But this is like the second time I've seen this error when testing, so I don't know. Yeah, as noted when, for the, quicker death stuff, I'm tired. I need to accumulate damage from over the past short moment, like what percentage of their HP has been taken out over the past moment, and use that as a metric rather than, you know, what was the damage of the previous shot? You know, there's an argument for recording these in the morning rather than the evening. I know it's at the end of the day, and so it feels correct to, you know, end the day with this, but, you know, there's a good argument for just recording in the mornings, because then I won't be yawning, and I probably won't ramble as much, because I'll be less tired, and so on and so forth. And it would allow me to get to bed slightly earlier as well. And it would probably encourage me to get up earlier. So maybe that's something I'll try in the future. Something to consider, at least. I might want to experiment with with using capsules instead of spheres, specifically for the railgun, because I'm thinking that I want the railgun to pierce enemies and penetrate them. And I'm thinking, like, on like these really big enemies, like having the railgun pierce and having like a capsule that's dissolving it rather than having just a sphere that's dissolving would be just so cool, and would feel so good. But that's for later. I'm not actually too familiar with sign distance fields, which is what I'm using for the sphere. Oh. So I introduced a bug where I was making a small change to prevent the ammo bars from flickering in their size, and I introduced a bug where the ammo bars instead just go to the maximum size and stay there. That's not good. I'll fix that afterwards. It's like this. There it is. Did I mention that I'm tired? That just needs, it just needs the distance to be the absolute value rather than the normal value. Another one of these guys. Basically, you get the current size, get the target size, which is either the selected holder size or the default size. If the distance between the two is less than a threshold value, just skip over it. Otherwise, try to linear motion in that direction. The problem was that this is supposed to clamp down to, say, the minimum here, but sometimes for whatever reason it would be such that target size minus size would be greater than 0. So this here would return a positive value. Actually, I need to check if sign returns. I actually don't know if mathf.sign always returns 1 or -1, or if it can return 0 if the values are equal. But the long and the short of it is that I shouldn't be doing this here. This is wrong, because you shouldn't compare floats like that. You shouldn't rely on floats being exactly equal to each other, even in cases when they, in this sort of case, like, kind of should be. Because you have this, so the size should be the default ammo bar holder size. So it should be 0, but I actually don't know if math.signf math.sign yeah, that's all useless. But if mathf.sign it can actually return 0, that's just not clear. So this might be returning positive when it is 0, and that causes this to boost up and over, and so that's bad because then it flickers. You might have seen that in previous recordings, and I just sort of didn't notice until recently. Yeah. So now I should have best of both worlds, where it doesn't flicker, and yeah. Yeah, I've kept the ichor off in the background. I'm actually wondering if I even want it, because for lore reasons it might not actually make sense for the ichor to be there. It's something that I want if you're out on the surface of the Eternal, but this is within a Titan, so basically, long story short, it may not make sense for there to be a view of what is effectively the blood of the creature. So, hard to say. It's one of the things I'll talk about with my artist friend tomorrow. And yeah, as I mentioned, I'm talking with my artist friend tomorrow, and I'm going to get some feedback and pointers on what currently exists and where I can go from there, and what I can do, and so on and so forth. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I'm hoping for some cool results from that. I also need to, now that I'm having like 5 or 6, like 10 of them here, I need to like actually like have them desynchronized. Because they look awkward when they're all synced up like this. They all look exactly the same, and I think it would look a lot better if they didn't. So I just need to add in 2 more parameters and just set them at the start. Anyways, yeah, I think that's everything. If you have comments, questions, ideas, or anything else on your mind, leave a comment below. Thank you for your time, and I hope to see you again soon. Take care.